Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Few hours after our conversation on the show yesterday, just yesterday, President Bola Tinubu, whose leadership style often draws both praise and criticism for his responsiveness to public sentiment, has once again displayed. He made a decisive move. Following the outcry over his recent presidential pardon list, the president has now ordered a review, revoking pardons for offences linked to kidnapping, drug-related crimes, including that of Mariam Sanda, who now serves 6 more years in prison. This development directly echoes the concern of our earlier guest yesterday, Sanusi A.S. Maikudi, member of the Network for Justice, Kaduna, whose powerful essay, Presidential Pardon or Political Patronage, The Moral Cost of Selective Mercy, questioned whether the mercy in Nigeria still works hand in hand with justice. Now this morning, as he joins us again from our Abuja studio, we ask, did the president act out of moral conviction, national conscience, or the growing demand for fairness? And what does this decision say about the governance, justice, and accountability in today's Nigeria? What are your thoughts? You can also join the conversation by calling us on 02016-352013 or 090-2416-3440. The numbers are right there on the screen. Tweet to us on x.com, #YourViewTVC. We're also streaming live on YouTube. You should drop your comments there. We'd love to hear from you. So yesterday's show is like, there's a Yoruba proverb, Ajekelano, Omokuleni. It felt like we spoke about this day yesterday, and almost immediately, in swift response, we got the president taking a decisive move to end any form of pardon or to reverse the pardons that had gone forth to kidnappers and all of that. So because Nima was on the show and she was already part of this conversation, I'd like to hear what you think. What do you think concerning this? And then I'll come to YK to give our own opinion on the matter. Okay, so I was on the show yesterday when the guests who wrote, a paper on this. And then I was also on the show when this broke the first time. And we reacted to it. So I understand, like I said the first time, the powers the Constitution grants the president to pardon and, officers, offenders. And I said, because it's a constitutionally provided power, I don't want to sit in criticism of it, but it didn't sit well for certain offenders. When we looked at the list, we were even reviewing that of Mariam Sanda, but there were other offenders who were benefiting from this pardon, who did not sit well with our moral judgment, and so we had queried it. And so I like that the president responded, and I'm sure that the guest yesterday would be more than impressed, because he had mentioned that they are usually in a responsive government when there's protest against any of their policies or decision, that you would see a change of it, and I like that. Which is very good for me, because I would have Office of the Citizenship now exists. When they clamor, the government responds. I would have remembered the Attorney General and the President for just this one time, because it will never change. It will be history. Now that it's been corrected, we also remember them for good. Okay. Yeah, I will say the same thing. I've noticed that this government actually responds to criticism. They actually react. The last government that did that was Jonathan. Jonathan too reacted to criticism. Call him out. Yeah, I remember when he changed the name of Unilag to MKO, and people came out and reversed it. And I found it so funny, because when he announced it, he thought they were going to hail him. The reaction was like crazy. It was like, and he first said, it's sacrosanct. He quickly, after a couple of days, backtracked. Please let it go back to Unilag, Jeje, So this one is the one that did not answer anybody. Say Baba. He didn't hear. If you like, sing and dance, shout, stand on this table. You don't say anything. You will not even say anything. You will not even do as if he heard you. Should we always blame the leaders or blame his team? Because sometimes the leaders don't even know. He might not hear, but if you have a good team that gives you feedback, or am I just I'm just asking, because the way your eye is changing to look at me. I don't know. Let me answer you. Just to buttress what Auntie Enya said. So
when the pardon list, presidential pardon list came for President Buhari, 2 ex-governors that we were only celebrating that at least they don't governor too, convicted ex-governors were pardoned.
By a man who claimed to be fighting corruption.
You know, he has gone, so let's not face him anymore. Let's just learn from his leadership style. He has gone.
So,
I know.
We later heard that the committee, that there was a bribery allegation that the DSS, I think, one of these agencies investigated that committee that put together that list for. Nothing changed.
Okay, so we will blame both the leaders and the team. Let me listen to you. They've accused you. Don't just leave Auntie Enya and this accusation. Focus on this one that we're discussing right now. Leave Say Baba. Say Baba is going to rest.
No, Kome, we still rest in perfect peace. Yes. So when I heard of this, it shows that that even we are part of the policy makers in Nigeria, directly or indirectly, because it just shows that the president actually listens. Because when it happened, when I saw this, I was like, this one now, you know, other people that are involved in all these crimes. Example, like this kidnapper, Evans. Say, let me go after committing such grievous.
Is he inside the list?
He's not in the list. But he too say, yes, now
the kidnapper that was responsible for Zekome's kidnapping.
He was on the list. Can you imagine?
The original
so
list.
You can imagine everybody should come out, because I will now feel left out. Like, so the president does not recognize me. Am I not also a citizen of Nigeria? Do you understand? Because I've committed a crime. The ones that have committed crimes, they have been let to go.
Released.
So they should let me go. And so I'm happy that he has reversed it. That's to show that he listens. And again, we Nigerians, we need to understand that sometimes our president will make some kind of, I don't want to say this is a mistake, but the most important thing is making that kind of mistake and reversing it, coming back to revisit it and make it, you know, better, even though it's not, because some people are still not satisfied with the reversal, because yes, they said they've reduced, like the Mariam Sanders case has been reduced to 12 years. Some people are saying no, that they should just go on with the judgment that was given to her in the first place. So and it just shows that he's okay, he's bold enough to still come back and reverse and accept his mistake and reverse it, which is which is a great quality of a leader.
Yes,
which is a great quality of a leader. Once you accept that, okay, yes, I've done something wrong here, let me reverse. Instead of there are some leaders that will be like, no, that is it. It's my final. This is what I want.
Yes,
it's final. It's fine now.
No, it's not even that. Some other leaders will say, whatever I say is law. Once I have said it, I cannot change my word. I've heard someone say it, that my first decision is my best decision. I have told myself I would never go back on my word. I was like, okay, different leadership style. But as a nation, we love our president's listening ability, listening strength, and the fact that he always reserves. But there's one more thing I'd like the president to do concerning this, because I really love us to hear from Mr. Maikudi to give us his opinion and all the other things he wants them to do. But there's one thing I want the president to do. There's a committee that put this list together. The president is not the one that did this.
I was going to, because it's not. This list was not the president's idea.
And the committee should be held responsible. The people that put in kidnappers' name, the people that put in politically exposed people's name, those lists.
That committee is under the Ministry of Special Duties. It shouldn't have been. Thank God that the president now has invested. It should be under the Ministry of Justice. It's the people that tried the matter that should be saying this matter, you know, because sometimes when you try a matter, you see the facts of the matter. Yes, there was a clear crime, but maybe in the course of trial, you see certain things that, you know, and those people are not involved in how you reach a prerogative of mercy list.
But I think now the president has sent it to
the right justice. He has moved it to the right.
You know, so those people inside that thing,
those special duties people.
No, so that's the thing for me. I feel that
it was politically done.
The committee that released this list should be investigated to identify what informed. They should say what informed the list that you came up with. Of all the people deserving of pardon, how did these people enter this 55? How did they enter the list? Based on what parameter? Because when we they would not create a structure for future to prevent this happening in the future.
The president did all of that.
I'm sure she didn't make that list. I can't remember her name, but do you remember her? She was a young girl in the north who killed her husband out of self-defense.
Yes.
There's even a man who a Fulani headsman had pointed a gun at. He was able to overpower him, take his gun, and killed the headsman. He's still in jail. His name did not make the list.
Didn't make that list.
So you'll be wondering, and if he was under the Ministry of Justice, the people who tried that man saw the clamor that was calling that somebody killed in self-defense in his farm and he was tried, you know, those are the people that would arrive at a list that would be reasonable.
Of course,
so the president not only moved the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy to the Ministry of Justice, he also instructed that new guidelines should be issued by the Attorney General going forward on the future mercy and pardons exercises, including mandatory consultation and with prosecuting agencies. So prosecuting agencies are the most important.
So those people, they just put Igbo in the president's pocket.
No, but you know the president is not supposed to have. Maybe he, like, for example, we are leaders.
He doesn't know them now.
In our small, he doesn't know them. He may not even remember the offences that they committed. But you know, in our own small leadership, like our businesses, like there are sometimes that they will come and tell us some things, we'll just approve. We'll say, go on. We think that the person that brought this thing has done his underground background
last
job.
Week Friday.
That's it. It's later on that once they do it, you'll now be like, wait, so why did I approve this?
What you just said happened to me. I approved a payment, underpaid an investor, overpaid 2 people. Then the next day I got a message, I invested money with you 2 years. This return is less than even my capital. I say, how? Because I had been on this matter since January that we must pay everybody this year. My husband said, you must take responsibility. You are the leader. You just approved. I said, I have 2 accountants. I felt they've done the check. He said, no, don't blame them. Take responsibility. I had to start looking at it line by line, which is why I said, should we blame the leader or we should blame the team? But I think the fault lies with both of them.
Yes.
And the responsible thing to do is, as the leader takes responsibility and backtracks, the team should also take responsibility and apologize to Nigerians. We'll take a break.
And say, excuse me, I resign.
Let's take a break. When we return, we continue with the show. And we bring in our guest, the wonderful man yesterday who enlightened us on this important topic. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Come back and thanks for staying with us. Our guest is joining us is Sanusi A.S. Maikudi, a member of the Network for Justice Kaduna, whose powerful essay, Presidential Pardon or Political Patronage, the Moral Cost of Selective Justice, where he questioned whether mercy in Nigeria still works hand in hand with justice, seemed to have generated a positive response in that there's a reversal of the pardon that took place, especially after our conversation yesterday. So we, on your view, won't take credit, but we also want to share the credit with you. However, we know that it's not just all about celebrating the fact this pardon took place. I'm sure for you, it's more of an institutional change you are seeking. So welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, uncles. Good morning, viewers.
All right. So the first question I want to hear from you, I want to get your response to this information. When you found out that the president has backtracked on 55 of the people that were pardoned, what was your initial reaction to the news?
My immediate reaction was I was happy. And I said the federal government and its team have started listening to the people. Even though we are operating under democracy, the idea of being responsive to the voices of the people has not taken a firm ground in our political culture. So when yesterday I saw the press release, I became happy. And I have not digested the content until later in the evening when I started reading other people's reaction. But my own personal reaction in the beginning was, I say, Eureka, this is what we expect to be happening. Governments at all levels and all tiers of government must know they are accountable to the people and must listen to the people. It doesn't mean they should take hook, line, and sinker whatever is coming out from the public. What we are expecting of them is to aggregate public opinion, process it, filter it, and then take what is urgent and important and apply it. So the government deserves some level of commendation for at least responding. The second phase is that the promises they have made about understanding justice as a 3-way traffic between the accused, the victim and the society or the state. This is a very, very fundamental starting point of operating a legal, judicial, and justice system, of which prerogative of mercy is an element. Number two, it is also pleasing that the federal government have promised a far-reaching judicial and correctional services reform. Is one of the gray areas in our national governance that needs attention. So I want to lend my voice. Apart from commending Mr. President, I want to appeal that this thing should be given the topmost priority possible. Let us see by next week a high-powered panel with the mandate and necessary powers to be able to kickstart the process with a robust terms of reference to sanitize, update, and make our judicial and justice system compliant with what some of the international best practices in the world, where miscarriages of justice are going to be minimized, if not totally eliminated, where justice is not up for sale to the highest bidder, where minors, where the poor and the weak members of the society are not going to disproportionately suffer, while the high and the mighty commit crimes with impunity.
That's so true,
and they
sir.
go free.
Wow. So,
Yes,
thank you, sir.
yes, sir.
Nima
So-
has a question for you.
Yesterday, I had asked him about, I had asked you, sir, yesterday about, you know, the committee that compiled this first list. And just as you, I also read criticism where people were questioning the process of compilation of this list and, you know, the weak coordination and the transparency of that committee. What would you like to see happen to members of that committee publicly?
No, my attention is not with those who made mistake. I am on the positive side of life. Now that their mistake have ignited a national momentum, a momentum that is going to sanitize our legal and judicial system, we should focus on the half full side of the cup, not the half empty side of the cup. They have made a mistake, but with the benefit of hindsight, that their own mistake is going to serve as a catalyst to awaken the government, the civil society, and victims and perpetrators to come to go back to the drawing board and initiate a reform system which we believe is going to transform our society. Because justice is one of the fundamental rule of law. Justice system, correctional services are one of the fundamental anchors of thriving democracies. And when you look at the bigger picture is how do we make a society that is conducive for all citizens to thrive and prosper, so that everybody will be loyal and patriotic to the nation, so that everybody will bring his contribution to participate in the development of the country, so that it's going to be a better place for all of us. So I am suggesting that the people who have made mistake, and the mistake has some intrinsic values, we shouldn't bother whether they are punished or they are not punished, because we have harvested an opportunity, because necessity is the mother of invention. It is out of their mistake that we realize that there is a dark area in our governance system, and we are supposed to light a candle, reform it, and so that we can emerge better. So I'm not of the opinion that they should be punished, sanctioned, or queried. That one can serve as a deterrent to others. But since we are under the umbrella of prerogative of mercy, unless if somebody can bring an evidence that they were compromised, they were unproportional in their conduct, and it was deliberate that they do, we have enough instruments in our legal system and our administrative system to attend to that, but that should not be our priority. Our priority is 70% of the detainees awaiting trial. How can we accelerate their trial to determine those who are innocent and those who are guilty? 2, how do we sanitize the correctional service so that people will stop living in subhuman situation? How do we improve our system to avoid miscarriage of justice? That's my priority.
Thank you so much, sir, because I love the perspective that we should keep our eye on the ball. Let's not get distracted by witch hunting and trying to blame someone. It was my first response. Let's deal with the committee that put this list together. But I like the wisdom of let's focus on achieving proper change. Ramatu has a question for you, sir.
Yeah, so in Akwana, sir. So the question I wanted to ask is, I'm not well schooled. Well, alhamdulillah. So the first question I want to ask is that, so he has pardoned, he has reversed the 55 people. So what's going to happen to the rest, the others, the other numbers? What's going to happen to them? I don't really know much about the justice system.
Reduction. Okay.
Yeah.
Their pardon was
no, you know, we are not saying that, you know, leaders, one of the conception of leadership from the perspective of legal system is that there should be a fountain of justice and a fountain of mercy. At the same time, a good leader should be a fountain of justice and should be a fountain of mercy.
Yes.
So there are some mistakes in life by individuals, by groups, by institutions that are premeditated. They are deliberately committed. And there are some that are by mistake. And the offenses have different degree of impact on the victims and on the society. So as far as there was a review of the initial list and the committee that looked at it, we are quite aware that the society is now vigilant, that the society is looking, monitoring, interested in what is happening in all arms, in all tiers of government. I believe they have done something better than the first team. So what should happen to the list, since the president has already signed it, anybody who feels further aggrieved, there are windows. There are windows of seeking redress or seeking clemency. What we are saying is that there should be an impeccably rule-based, legal, ethical, morally sound, and impartial mechanism of exercising the prerogative of mercy. It should not be a commodity that is available to the highest bidder. So those who are lucky to make it to the final list, to err is human and to forgive is divine. We say congratulations to them and we welcome them back to the society. We hope they will start contributing to the healthy development of our country. And for those who are on the other side of the law, we hope they will serve their terms peacefully and responsibly, and upon completion, they will return to life as normal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I was going to ask you something. As part of the advocacy that you do you have a list of complaints from the prison? I know you've highlighted the fact that there are so many people awaiting trial and those should be dealt with. But aside those awaiting trial, like the case Nima highlighted earlier where a man shot in self-defense, or the case YK highlighted earlier where a young girl, teenager, was married off underaged and was being abused in her marriage and she poisoned her husband, or the one that killed her husband, and now she's serving life imprisonment. If there could be, do you have a list of people like that who you feel should be getting pardoned, that you would like to see them getting pardoned? Do you have such lists, sir?
There are a lot of lists when you monitor excesses of justices. Like When a civil society committee visited one of the detention centers in Kano, they found a young girl underage who somebody entrusted with her handset to keep for her. The value of the handset was 50,000 naira. Invariably, the phone got stolen. The owner refused to agree that it was stolen. She accused the safekeeper as being stealing her phone instead of keeping it safely. That lady is now in detention. But this is not the way to go about it, looking at individual cases. The committee that is going to review the prerogative of mercy instrument and the down-to-earth deep judicial and correctional service reform should open a window. Should open a window like the Public Complaint Commission. It should be empowered.
Good.
And the relevant institutions of the state, the police, the judiciary, the legal aid council, we are not lacking in institutions, we are not lacking in instruments, policies, laws that governs this activity. The issue is that their effectiveness and their efficiency. There seems to be business as usual, which in the 21st century, the multidimensional crisis afflicting the world called for paradigm shift in governance. Governments must be proactive, they must be thorough, they must have capable, motivated people who have capacity, that are ready and willing to discharge their mandate. So it is not about individual lists, but about creating institutions with frameworks and mechanisms and protocols of deliberately identifying, documenting, and addressing miscarriages of justices.
Thank you so
right
much.
now, there are people in detention for posting uncomplimentary posts in the social media against some political figures. I've read about it in Kebbi, I've read in Sokoto, I'm aware of some in Kaduna, and if you are very active in the social media, a sun will not rise and set without reading about abuses of power and privileges by some highly placed members of the society. And this is the type of thing that is promoting anger among the citizens, that the country is now drifting into, instead of a country for all of us, is now drifting into a country for some select few, just because of their either wealth, political status, or connection to those who are either wealthy or politically connected. So I am suggesting the best way to go about it is the broad-based, collaborative, interagency, multidisciplinary institution that will open a window, both digital window for people to lodge their complaint online, virtually, and people that will visit detention centers. We have a number of detention centers. We have the prisons. We have the police cells.
Yeah, those are
we
very
have
powerful
others,
suggestions.
military, also in the insurgency and banditry area. They have detention centers. And some other agencies of government have some detention center. So you can't be under a democracy and you have an underworld that is not open to transparency and accountability. All those detention centers must be visited. All detainees must be profiled and reviewed. As I have said, an innocent youth spent 12 years wrongly in detention. 12 years were enough for him to finish primary school for 6 years, go to secondary school for 6 years, and be ready for tertiary education. Now we have wretched his life. Already he was vulnerable because he was an orphan. He was an orphan before his detention. And he has spent 12 years, he has lost it in his life, and there was no remedy of any kind. So the best way, as I've said, is to have an institutional mechanism that can be used to trace, no matter how remote the detention centers are, so that we can do justice, because injustice to one is injustice to all.
Thank you so much. It was really great having you again on the show today, Mr. Sanusi Maikudi. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for the advocacy, and we would want a better, we all want a better Nigeria together, a stronger justice system. We'll take a quick break right now.
Thank you.
When we return, the show continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.